is up, everybody? I'm going to talk about something today that I think is likely going to piss some people off. And I'm hoping it stimulates some conversation and that we can all be friends in the end. Uh, but what I want to talk about today is diet. Um, there is a lot of buzz in the air about this What the Health documentary that's come out advocating an animal-free diet. And there are a lot of things in that documentary that I learned and that I resonated with, and that, you know, drinking cow's milk, especially pasteurized from large industrial farms, is probably not what we need. And, you know, processed meat, probably a bad idea. There's been a lot of studies about carcinogens and processed meat, and there's a lot of really great information. However, there is something that is making me feel uncomfortable, and that is the idea of being made to feel guilty or bad, or being told that eating animal protein is wrong. And here's why. Stay with me. I have a story, a personal story, and it starts a few years ago. Well, it built up a few years ago to the point where I had to listen, and it was basically, I was very sick. I was having all kinds of chronic inflammation, crazy hormone imbalance, acne. I mean, I can go on and on, but it's not sexy. I don't need to. We'll just say inflammation. I had a lot of inflammation. And I was trying to figure it out, you know, and at the same time, I moved out to Santa Monica, and I met all of these incredible people. I don't know why, I was just attracting almost a certain type of people, and they were all raw vegan, almost all of them. And I loved them, and I was like, oh my god, like, this is it, you know. But my problem is that I haven't done raw vegan. I'm going to eat only organic, I'm going to eat raw, and just take in vital local foods and forever, and it's gonna work. And I got sicker than I have ever been in my entire life, hands down. All the inflammation just, you know, went through the roof. So I kept searching, and came across this woman named Natasha McBride, who has this thing called the GAPS diet. GAPS stands for Gut and Psychology Syndrome, and it's all about the science that connects your brain to your gut, your intestines, and that your gut actually is a second brain. And she goes into what happens to your digestive tract when you take in a lot of medications, antibiotics, birth control, antidepressants, whatever. When you take in a lot of processed foods, when you have a lot of stress, it literally it compromises your digestive tract. You begin to have actual holes in your intestines. This is called leaky gut. I mean, there's a lot of ways it can manifest, but the short of the long is you are unable to take in nutrients and break them down properly. So all of those things I mentioned, that was like my life, you know, medication, stress, processed food. And when I started trying to do raw vegan, my poor little digestive tract was so just out of whack that it inflamed everything more. So the protocol for the GAPS is all about eating super nutrient dense food that's easy for your body to break down. So the first thing they talk about is bone broth, which to you vegans listening probably sounds pretty disgusting, but actually it was quite satiating for me and very, very helpful in rebuilding the lining of my intestines. And you know, things like actually raw local grass-fed yogurt that you make, that you have to ferment for a certain amount of time so that there's no lactose in it, and grass-fed organ meats, and just things that literally help you take in high levels of nutrients, cooked vegetables, Anyway, you can look it up, but the short of the long is that it absolutely changed my life. Like, it really helped me balance things out. And so I guess my point is, I feel frustration when I see the sort of, it's almost like fundamentalism in a way, around, and the guilt and the shame around animal protein and people taking it in, you know, and because I think the point is that no one person is the same. And I mean, like, look at the Amazon rainforest. How boring would it be if there was only one type of tree in all the Amazon rainforest? You know, it's the same thing with the human family. Like, we thrive. Diversity is how we thrive. And we're not all meant to eat the same food. We're not all meant to connect with God in the same way. We're not all meant to have the same sexual preferences, you know? The point is, I think, to tolerate each other, and which means maybe I should tolerate people who are trying to make me feel like an ass for taking in local grass-fed animal protein every once in a while. That's something for me to think about. Yeah, so any thoughts? Do you have any thoughts? Have I upset you? I hope we can still be friends, and thank you for listening and sharing your insight on the subject or your experience, because I think the most powerful thing we can do is have a conversation about it. And also, sidebar, new music is out, and a lot of people have been listening and sending me great messages, and thank you so much for your support. And if you haven't listened yet, you can go to iTunes, you can go to Spotify, and check it out. Okay, see you next week. Thanks for listening. Adios.